I do consider Halloween 2018 to be better than the original.
Yes, you read that correctly. So if you guys saw my last video, you know that I ranked the 2018 reboot slash prequel slash sequel slash whatever the hell Halloween movie above the original 1978 one. So that's what this video is, justifying that placement. So, why? From what I've heard from like every human being alive, it isn't better. I mean, yeah, most people agree that it's one of the better Halloween sequels out there, but literally nobody agrees that like any of the sequels are better than the original. Oh, wait, never mind. I think I finally found someone who does. Damn it. But seriously, why the hell do I prefer the 2018 movie over the original movie, which everyone agrees is amazing? Well, we should get something out of the way. I still absolutely adore the original. If you saw my last video, it's only one spot below 2018 on the ranking, and it's still one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I love it. Said literally everyone ever. Go on, go to Letterboxd and try to find a single negative review from someone who isn't completely trolling or an idiot. I'll wait. So yeah, it's a great movie. Amazing movie. So why is it not as good as the requel? Well, what makes the original so good is its horror, story, writing, cinematography, impact, kills, acting, and ending. So why don't we just go down the list and compare each of those aspects with the new one's aspects, starting off with horror. So why exactly is the original so scary? Well, it did something that a lot of horror movies were afraid to do at the time, a grounded story. They always followed some kooky, silly monsters or some other creature, and never dared to do anything with a grounded story that could really happen. The closest it got was Psycho, but even that was still a little disconnected from reality towards the end. But this really was the first popular horror movie that had a fully grounded in reality plot. There are so many real cases of things like this happening. Michael Myers isn't some benevolent being or alien. He's just a man with a mask that's hell-bent on killing everyone he finds because he's just an evil guy. That's why it's scary. This could really happen to you. Sure, he is kind of invincible and can't die, but I feel like it still benefits the movie because right when you feel like it's finally over, he just keeps coming back, and it doesn't detract from the reality of the movie. So, how does 2018 handle this? Really well, actually. As the other sequels went along, it felt like it kept losing more and more of the grounded sense you got from the first. The greater damage he suffered and survived, the less real he seemed, especially when they turned it into a cult resurrection storyline or decapitated him. Oh, sorry, a cop that looked like him. But this was really on par with the original in terms of the type of things he does in it. All of the damage he suffers seems like things he really wouldn't die from. Like, yeah, most people would probably scream and run away if they got their fingers shot off, but this just shows how dedicated he is to killing Laurie once and for all. I honestly think he's even more real in this one than the original, because we see him with the mask off and in the asylum, showing that, yeah, this is just a guy, and he doesn't suffer any major injuries until the very end, which is the thing that kills him, ignoring the sequels. This feels even more real and scary than the first. Something that especially made the first scary was its simplicity, and though it is a little less simple here, I feel like the first of the sequels to have a natural progression of power scale from the first, which, again, aids in making it scarier. I don't think I can choose which one is more effective at horror. They both have ups and downs, so we'll call it a tie here. 1 point to each of them. Next up, story. The first follows an escaped killer going on a killing spree in a small town on Halloween night before ultimately disappearing by the end. And 2018 is kind of like a mirrored version of that, which is what I think makes it such a good continuation. It follows the same escaped killer going on yet another killing spree on Halloween night, except this time, Laurie is prepared. She's been paranoid ever since that night, and we see the toll it's taken on her. She forced her own daughter to go through years of torture just to prepare her, in case the shape ever comes back, which has isolated her from the rest of her family. We even get these excellent shots showing that, which I'll discuss when we get to cinematography, but we still have a mirror to the original Laurie with Allison. She's more of a modern take of what a teenage girl would be doing on Halloween night, but not in like a cringy way, more of just an updated Laurie, but it still works and she's still an endearing character. Now, some people complain about how similar this movie is to the first, but I honestly think it works because of that. It gives the audience what they've wanted for the past 30 or 40 years. A simple Halloween sequel that is similar to the first. It cannot be that damn hard. Okay, so maybe it was. But still, this is so effective. The third act especially was so tense and amazing, so just how much these characters have grown and are finally able to take down Michael after years and years of sequels, making him into some immortal being. Again, ignoring the sequels after this one. I honestly think that they use Michael more effectively here. For the first act, he's more of a shadow that haunts Laurie. You almost start to believe that she's delusional with the rest of the characters. The second act is fully focused on him breaking out in his murder spree, which, though it is fan service, I mean, it's good fan service. And thank God they retconned Laurie being siblings with Michael. It was always a stupid idea. So yeah, I feel like they use Michael more effectively and more often here. It helps make the first act less monotonous than the first, which is one of my least favorite aspects of the first. I gotta give the point of story for 2018 for just being such a perfect evolution of the first. Next up, writing. Let's cut the shit. Yeah, the first had better writing. I mean, this one is funnier and endears you more to the side characters and the stories, but it doesn't have a line like purely and simply evil or anything. So yeah, I'll point to the original. It's not even a contest. Next up, cinematography. As I said before, there are a lot of shots in this movie that mirror the original movie, but replace Michael in the shots with Laurie. This brilliantly helps show how disconnected Laurie's gotten from her family. She becomes a stalker, a castaway from the people she loves. In a way, she becomes the exact thing she's been training so long to kill. And not to say the original doesn't have, bad shots, it obviously didn't. Some of them are so iconic that they've been parodied and referenced a million times, but iconic doesn't always mean best. And as for as many great shots as the original has, this just has 3 more. Not even to mention the role reversal at the end where Laurie stood at the top of the steps. It was once Michael who stood over her, looking down at her like prey, but now she's in the exact same position, and the fact that he never stops looking at her as he catches on fire, and how the final shot shows the girl holding the knife, cementing that even though they won, she's been traumatized in the same way Laurie was and might actually end up like her. It's all just so great. So yeah, controversial, but this point's going to 2018. Next up, impact. And once again, yeah, this is an easy win for the original. 2018 really should have had a good impact. It was a revolutionary idea for the time. Kinda, even though they had already done it twice already. But still, most of the time when horror movies or horror movie studios in general wanted to start over in a series, they just reboot it. But Halloween 2018 really should have popularized the requel strategy, which is a direct sequel, but it cuts out a large majority of other films in the franchise. So it's a reboot of the franchise, but still a sequel to the original. This seems like a great idea, but 7 years later, and this really isn't used anymore. Again, it should have had a good impact, but for some reason, it just didn't. Meanwhile, the original changed the horror genre forever and inspired nearly every popular slasher film ever. So yeah, the point's going to the original. Well, we're tied up 3-3. Let's see if we can change that with kills. And yes, we can. Say whatever you want about the original and how great it is, but besides the kill in the car and the pinned against the wall, the kills are really lackluster. And yes, I'm a sick fuck who likes to judge a horror movie by its kills. It's not a problem when James does it, I guess. But this one just has better ones. Less iconic, sure, but way better. The kill on the fence is better than every single one in the first movie. Same thing with the head smashing or the bathroom ones. All of them are so striking and terrifying. We just got way more here. The quality and quantity. So, a point to this. Next up, acting. So while the first had surprisingly good acting for the time, as most horror movies around that time were really campy and cheesy, I do think 2018 had better acting. Don't get me wrong, the new Doctor isn't even close to as good as Dr. Loomis, but still, Jamie is just more captivating here with her arc, and the fear of Michael is conveyed better through the characters, and how paranoid everyone in the town is. And sorry, but Allison just comes off as a dumb but capable teenager way more than most in the original. Still not as good as Jamie's original role, but she's really good. There's just a lot of good acting from both movies, but there still are a few campy actors in the first and a few more serious ones in 2018, so this one narrowly goes to 2018. Well, it's 5-3 and there's only one category left, so 2018 already wins, but let's still look at the last one. That, of course, being the ending. Now, the original ends with Dr. Loomis showing up to help Laurie by shooting Michael off the balcony, but when they go to check the ground, he's nowhere to be seen. I forgot to mention this earlier, but I don't entirely like how 2018 kind of undoes this ending by making it so that they just caught him 10 minutes later, but realistically, what else were they supposed to do? Still, that's an incredible ending. It has a haunting shot to close off the movie. It still doesn't give you relief after a movie full of bad events. There's no happy ending to be seen. So how does 2018 end? Well, after luring Michael to Laurie's fortress of a house, they managed to lock him in the basement, which though Laurie said throughout the film was a bunker or a hideout, she reveals here that was actually a trap. She lights the house on fire and escapes with her family on a nearby truck. All while Michael just stares forward as he's engulfed in flames. But it still retains the open-ended nature of the first movie, because after cutting back to him, he's not in the same spot anymore, or anywhere in the basement, and the movie ends with a shot of Allison holding the knife, symbolizing that she's basically become her grandma, the same traumatized woman from the start. Not only is this ending symbolic, but it's really just a good finale to the entire series. Now, they did technically leave the door open for more sequels, but I really think the intention was to just leave everything off here. Open-ended doesn't mean required sequels, and this felt more of a creepy standoff to his character rather than a confirmation of more films. That's why I like to headcanon in my brain that this is where the Halloween series ended, with a perfect continuation of the first that stood for everything the series was about and ended off with a concrete finale. Just ignore kills and ignore ends. Please, just leave this series alone. just because the weight the ending held, the spectacle, the scariness, and the symbolism, I have to give the point to 2018. Even if the original is simpler, sometimes bigger is better. So yeah, that's the final point, 6-3, meaning 2018 wins. But even still, I don't have to do this whole point system. I knew from the start 2018 was my favorite. Look, I know that no one's going to agree with me, except you, but still, I hope I'm convinced at least one of you to rewatch 2018 and consider it as one of the best Halloween movies in the whole series. Just for the love of God, ignore those two movies, they never existed. And for the record, again, the original is still amazing, if that makes you any less mad at me. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go make out with the mirror.
You're gonna what now?
Nothing, honey. Thank you all for watching, and I don't really have anything to say. Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't really have that much of an intro. I really wanted this to just be a really short video, which is what it is. I mean, I wasn't lying when I said it's gonna be a short video. The next one's gonna be a little longer because I have way more to say about the lighthouse, but yeah. I'm dreading making the next one because after this, I'm gonna have to rewatch the lighthouse, and I don't want to do that, but whatever. And, okay, anyways, bye. Thank you for watching this. The outro, cool outro, slept up, cool outro, yay! Also, the honey thing, yeah, they're married. Just so you know, I think I've mentioned that many times. I don't think I mentioned it in a video, though. Slept up and slept up are married. They're gay. Yeah, we forever.